Alright, so it looks like the next round is going to be starting. I will be taking the grand final. It's going to be Xixo versus Ekop. These two guys currently sitting at 3 points each, which basically means that they're the two best performing players in the event. Both veteran card game players, so it shows quite a bit. Ekop has played a ton of WoW TCG. Xixo has played way too much Hearthstone for his own good. One of the things to keep in mind as well is that only one of them will get away with 4 points. So it looks like Ekop or Xixo, one of them, has $1,000 on the line. Whoever ends up with 3 points gets 500, which is a very good amount, and the guy who gets first place gets 1,500. That is not negligible. Really, really well done by these two guys. Just getting to the top of a Swiss round in this event. Looks like a Hermelian Elves has been banned for Ekop, by Ekop, that is, for Xixo, and Coronis has been banned for Ekop by Xixo. Both players playing a very aggressive lineup, as you can tell, both with Hermelian Elves and a Mono Black Zombie. The Rage Rush is on Xixo's side, where Ekop chose to bring a Coronis deck. So we'll see which of these two will do better. We will see indeed, because this is an interesting type of lineup. Rage Rush, as I said earlier, is able to punish very, very harshly when you're playing a slow deck, but Ekop is playing no slow decks whatsoever. One of the things, though, that gives, I would say, Ekop the edge in a slight way is the fact that his deck runs healing. And his deck runs healing against a deck that has problems finding reach, because if it doesn't find Burning Rage, it doesn't draw enough. One of the things that is good for Xixo here is that he already has Burning Rage set up. But Ekop, between the quick speed Infected Survivors, the -1/-1, the reduction in speed to make his 2/2 zombies attack whatever it is that he wants to attack, the fact that he makes the Flameborn Incarnates terrible, because these guys do not get to grow beyond really 3/3 at the very most in this matchup, and that is late game. It's pretty tough for Xixo to win this game. I would say so. And right now, Xixo playing Burning Rage very early in the game, wants to make sure that he has it set up, but honestly, it's more because he's lacking alternatives. There's very little else that he can choose to do. He's gonna have to hope that Burning Rage will carry him, and that Fire Blast off of a double Burning Rage board is going to cycle 2 cards while dealing with zombies. Very tough spot. Ekop, I would say, in a commanding lead, and it is just compounding itself. There's definitely Xixo here panicking a little bit. Needs to find a Fire Blast. Picks up Firebrand Goblin. Good card to have. Makes every single Goblin you have swift. The issue with this card is that it dies right away to Infected Survivor. Playing it and putting it on the back line, waiting to play Gibo and Roni with the Goblin Warrior, is a consideration, but because it's a 2/2, you know it dies to Noxious Fumes. And that alone is enough to deter you from even trying to make it work. So good call here by Xixo, removing the second Burning Rage. Chooses not to take 2 damage a turn against an aggro deck, not something you want to do ever. He's going to be taking an extra 4 damage in this exact spot. Xixo is happy here to develop the Gibo and Roni, knowing full well that Firebrand Goblin will give them Swift, which will let them attack from the back row as soon as this comes out. So 4 damage pouring in for Xixo. He's going to be taking another 1 from Burning Rage, so he's effectively at 10 health right now. Already getting and dipping excessively low. Not good for him. But we see a good turn here for Xixo if he wants to go for the Rage Shrine with Gibo and Roni plus Firebrand Goblin. He can do some decent work. He can do some decent work. I wouldn't be surprised to see the double Flameborn Incarnate come out. But he's going to opt for the full Goblin roster, and there we go. This is it. That is a ton of pressure, but Ekop, I think, has what it takes to answer it. The thing is, does Xixo choose to like pop those zombies so they can't trade into the Firebrand? I don't think so. I don't think that's even a viable play. This play I like quite a lot. I have to say this trade, although it looks benign, what it does is it slows down the kill clock of Ekop by 1, and it makes it so this hero power doesn't get a bonus at all. And even though Ekop does get additional zombies after the infected survivors die, that is all that happens. That is kind of the end of that sequencing. Now Ekop, with the possibility of playing more corruptions, Word of Pain, that gives him so much damage. I don't think Xixo expects to get away with this. I don't think Xixo expects to get away with this at all. I would be surprised. I would be surprised. And the double trade by Ekop, killing 2 goblins, and better than that even, getting himself 2 additional zombies as these one die, and zombify triggers. Nice top deck there by Xixo, picks up Gibo and Roni, giving him 2 goblins to use with Firebrand Goblin. This may be one of the few cards that would have actually helped him, and he gets Massive Assault as well. He gets to play Massive Assault, but is that enough? If you play Gibo and Roni and use the opponent can't block with this, you're only dealing a total of 6 damage, and Massive Assault does not begin to handle this either. Does Ekop have enough characters in the graveyard to enable the Insatiable Ghoul? He does. So I think what we're going to see here is Massive Assault being played with a Circle of Fire plus Spark of Initiative. You can use the Spark of Initiative to get you that 1 extra bit of mana. Or alternatively, you sacrifice a goblin and use Fireball. I mean, that is very aggressive, but it could just work. It might just work, because right now Ekop only has 9 damage on board, which could mean... Oh no, he would die to Burning Rage at the end of the turn, right? Oh yeah, he'd be dead. He can't do that. I hope he doesn't make the mistake that I was going to make. Yeah, he has to trade. He has to trade. Noxious lied. He can't do what I want him to do. It's a sad day. I'm sad, but I No! Yeah, he can't make that play. I blundered this. I didn't think about it, but the Burning Rage would have dealt 1 damage to him, so being on 9 is enough to die. So the clock for Xixo still remains about the same. If he plays Flameborn Incarnate, if for some reason he doesn't, why would you not? I mean, you should at least consider it, right? So he uses the Spark of Initiative with Fireball to kill one of those zombies. Cycles a card off of Burning Rage right away. So, being at 5 health, he is actually still alive, but Ekop gets to force him to sacrifice the minion he's got if he doesn't kill him right away. Double Word of Pain! What?! Triple Word of Pain from Ekop during this game. Xixo had no chance. Xixo had no chance at all. No chance whatsoever. This was like a one-sided game. Right off the start, the Flameborn Incarnates were the worst possible cards that I think could be found in this matchup for Xixo as far as aggression went, and that's what he was stuck with all game long. Let's do this. Let's spectate Xixo again, playing a zombie. Ekop currently has an edge on him. We'll see if Xixo is able to take the game with the zombie deck. He did just get demolished by it, so the question is of whether or not it'll be able to take a game against elves. It should be able to, because the Plague Vermin is exceptionally good at dealing with those pesky little elves. Yeah, looks like lots of good turns coming up for Xixo. I like Infected Survivor, but I think Rotting Remains is possibly more appealing. It's hard to say. Oh, no Shrine found for Xixo. These types of decks run a very low Shrine count, so this is sometimes to be expected. I would consider using Entangle on this elf to attack it with a zombie and play Plague Vermin. You develop a card that will kill whatever small elf he plays, and you get to kill his elf. I like that a lot, and this will be back off cooldown as soon as you need it. So, probably a good play. We'll see. Xixo has a few lines of play here, all of which are possibly plays that you can defend or justify. He uses Entangle, reduces the speed of this lowly 1/1 to attack it with a zombie. And Ambush Strike is played by Ekop. Now look at this troll. Ekop got the Spark of Initiative to be used by Ekop used the Spark of Initiative with Ambush Strike, thinking, yeah, I'm gonna save my elf. Well, little did he know, the Plague Vermin came out, and down went the elf anyway, and this will slow down Ekop's tempo tremendously. Unless he has the perfect elf warrior, or more little 1/1 Grove Guardians. Well, this is not that big of a deal. I mean, Xixo is still pretty happy about this. Still pretty happy about this. He gets to play the Plague Vermin. If he wants, gets to play even Rotting Remains or Infected Survivor. Probably a bit better. Do you sacrifice it preemptively? I don't think so. It's not worth it. There's nothing that will kill the Plague Vermin from Ekop's side, so you get to pull the trigger on this whenever you want. It's kind of rare that Ekop will have an answer to this. Kind of liking this. So it looks like the Grove Guardian is going to get buffed up. +1/+1. It gets a good trade, but if he does, then Xixo pulls the trigger on the Plague Vermin, killing the Grove Guardian in the process, leaving Xixo with nothing but a 2/2 zombie. Which is perfectly fine for Xixo, I imagine. I mean, again, it consumes Spirit, he gets a free kill in the 2/2. And then Entangle can be used on cooldown, as we spoke of earlier. So you get, interesting. Okay, I did not expect this. I was expecting a corruption gain. Followed by Consume Spirit and the Cavalry Captain. But I guess he wants to keep this for when it's going to be the most impactful and simply develop more stuff. And he does develop more stuff. Okay, that's a very, very board-centric play by Xixo, which incidentally I think is actually better now that I think about it. Yeah, Ekop doesn't have a good way to deal with this entire board. Again, same concept as earlier. And whatever happens here, the Plague Vermin in the back threatens to make those Rotting Remains very strong, even if they get attacked by something that is technically stronger than they are. So yeah, this play by Xixo is obviously better than the Consume Spirit. It is a lot more viable for the long game, no doubt. Apparently Reels wants a key. I'm surprised Reels is around. What's up, man? How you been? It's been forever. Yeah, flying is nothing like MTG. The flying means that it's going to be on the back line. Ekop, I'd like to see what hand he's got right now, because it's got to be quite excruciating based on the plays that he's making. He picks up a decent elf off the top. The problem is he's nowhere near having the mana to play it. He does, however, find the Elf Scout, which makes the Grove Guardian more than capable of killing anything in this spot. I would not be surprised to see the Grove Guardian attacking into a Rotting Remains. Attacking anything else would mean that the Plague Vermin gets value. There's also the play where you attack with the Cavalry Field Captain into the Rotting Remains, and then use the Grove Guardian to attack the zombie. That forces the Plague Vermin to try to fight on two fronts. It's an okay play. Yeah, this kind of works out, like, similarly. In fact, it's probably better, because no matter what, this Rotting Remains dies. And there's no chance that blockers are substituted left and right. I like that. It's very heads up. Uh-oh, Flesh Sculptor gets picked up by Xixo. This spells trouble for Ekop, because whenever something dies, he gets a free zombie. And this hand is quite ripe with kill cards. It's not going to feel good to use Haunted Cemetery as a corruption card, but since you have Flesh Sculptor and Consume Spirit, you're essentially winning the game, because you get a free zombie off of this, you kill something that they have. It's hard to say no. It's hard to say no. Xixo doesn't say no. Xixo goes for it, plays the corruption, does not get Zombify, but I think this will be miles better than Zombify in the long game. So Consume Spirit could be used to kill this lovely little Cavalry Field Captain, clean up this board once and for all. The alternative, of course, being Entangle plus trade the Rotting Remains, but I'm not sure that's necessarily optimal. It would be okay since in the end you do end up getting a zombie from the rotting remains dying, but you might as well just put pressure and win in the next 2 turns if you can. Speed up that clock and put Ekop in a lockdown situation. And the Flesh Sculptor goes and hides on the back line. Very well done here, protecting it, just to make sure that Ekop can't snipe it with some kind of raider that we know is on the top of the deck and could come out. So it looks like Ekop is going to be forced to kill bad minions instead of dealing with the big stuff. However, I was going to say, one of the things that is worrying if you're Xixo is you don't have enough damage if you throw the Flesh Sculptor in the back. And if Ekop is forced to use a rider on this, then these guys get to do whatever they want. You can lower the speed of Niena, attack it with a zombie legionnaire, and then go face with everything else. Whereas if you end up putting this on the back line, then all Ekop does is kill your summoned zombies, so they do not spawn more zombies. This damage output is actually quite important for Xixo. I wonder if Ekop's going to put the Niena on the front line. There's a good chance that he does to mitigate damage. There's nothing here that should worry him too much. He puts her there, making sure that he doesn't get too much. Oh my goodness! How does Xixo use this, though? I guess it comes down to Flesh Sculptor with the Entangle, double trade with your zombie legionnaires to make sure she's gone and never blocks anybody else ever again. I don't think that's going to be a winning card. Oh, wow. He goes for the... Oh, my God. Insane. Well done by Xixo here. So he picks up... So he throws away the Flesh Sculptor, realizing these guys are never going to give me zombies. I'm not going to get a 2-2 for 2 and win with it. So he gets Sanctum of the Void, which, unfortunately for him, he can't play yet. As soon as he gets an extra shrine... an extra corruption level, he'll be able to force Ekop to sacrifice creatures every turn. For the time being, though, he can kill Niena if he wants. He can go for Sanctum of the Void as an ability gain, use the hero power, lower Niena down to 1 speed, and kill her with his zombies. Ekop, however, is looking pretty strong in this spot. We see here off the top from Niena's ability that he's got Ambush Strike just waiting to be used. That is really tricky. Xixo trying to milk this rotting remains for all the damage it's got, which is not much, but it's something. Xixo will have to play this now, otherwise he won't be able to play it on the same turn that he plays another shrine as a corruption level. So maybe he's waiting to see if he finds Word of Pain in order to see what's more beneficial. Or maybe just, you know, try to cycle Sanctum of the Void into a normal shrine. Very solid turn here by Ekop. There's nothing else to say. I mean, this is taking control of the board undeniably. I don't see much of a way out of this for Xixo unless he picks up some insane cards. Noxious Fumes, not a bad card to have, but unfortunately right now, not going to do anything at all. Haunted Cemetery is really useful. I might have considered taking Haunted Cemetery, to be frank. That way you can attack with Rotting Remains, and when it dies, you get the zombie anyway from it. But I guess ultimately all you're getting is 1 extra damage out of very little value, so... Yeah, this is fine. But yeah, this is not looking good at all. Xixo's taking 6 damage next turn. He knows there's a Ambush Strike, so he's taking 8. Times 2 from Tireless March, so he's taking 16. And Ekop might just have 1 little bit of extra damage in hand. The shrine that gives +1/+1 to an elf would be sufficient. Gives him the extra mana and the ability. Does not have it. Still gets 16 damage to throw in Xixo's face. Xixo not looking too strong right now. Okay. Just casually dropping riders like it's Rider Christmas. Wow, Xixo picking up nothing, and Ekop with the elves and with the zombies takes it. Like, this looked like a mirror match of a final. So congratulations to Ekop, our grand champion. So congratulations. You are $1,500 richer and the winner of the first Spellweaver tournament that I cast.